All right, YouTube. Zach Esch with House of Champions here with Alexander Lisgathe with his top 8 UDS Phantom Knight deck. Tell us more about it.
So I played the Jeff Jones Phantom Knight deck because we had similar ideas, but he had 2 more weeks on the deck than I did, and I checked out his hot recipe, and it was actually just better than mine, so I just played his deck card for card.
All right, let's go into the deck.
All right. So you played 3 of each of the Phantom Knight guys. So boots, gloves, and cloak. Cloak basically gets you all your monsters. It searches them. Ragged Gloves Foolish is both monsters and traps of the Phantom Knight variety. And then Boots can special summon itself. And they all have on-field effects too, but they're like this one isn't that relevant in this deck. Because normally you end off with like all XYZs rather than having like a lone Phantom Knight up. But in case you do, it can switch to defense when it's in attack position and pump up a dark monster by 800. This one comes up more often where if it uses XYZ material, you give the XYZ monster 1000 attack if it's dark. And then this one special summons itself, so this one can like be a combo starter with any one of these pieces, and when you banish it, searches a spell or trap. So when you end your combo and they're not dead, this is mainly the one you use to get a trap, because they they prevent them from doing anything, and then you just repeat the OTK.
That sounds good.
For the secondary engine, you play Terratops. This is like a tour guide, but you can special summon it, and so it just doesn't use your normal summon. So it not only elongates your plays, but it makes them more powerful. This is the card that so this entire deck kind of needs some kind of setup if you had Dante or something like that. But if you have Terratop and another rank 3 play, then you actually don't have to set up. You can just kill them immediately. And so these are the 2 targets for it. So I don't know how to say this one. So Zoidberg, basically, you can special summon him from your hand. And so he makes this like a tour guide kind of thing. This one's the normal summon one, but it's a tuner as well. And it's also good to mill. So I just wanted 2 targets. It also makes... so the fact that it's a tuner will come up, and I'll explain why in the extra deck. Then after that, you played like singleton cards, so Math and Ghost Ogre, and then the Quantum Blue Layer, because it constantly is emergency teleport target, but sometimes you'll draw this.
And you were saying you don't search with this at all. You don't.
Right.
You don't play the red layer.
Yeah, you don't play any other layers. So this one is a lot of people, you summon it and they're like, okay, effect, and you're just like, no, and they're like, you suck, and I'm like, I can't search. Like, there's nothing. This card gets to any of the Phantom Knights, so that's good. And then this one, if you draw this one, it makes teleport good, because if you flip this and teleport, it's a combo.
So you make Black Rose in the deck also?
No, because they're all 3s. But you make Trishula, which is why you play she's a tuner as well.
Just as strong.
Right, and the fact that she's a hand trap is good too. But mainly the teleport is just for the 1 blue layer, because it can keep putting.
And a trap monster.
Mm-hmm. But sometimes it just puts itself, or you draw it, so you can't like put it back. So any teleport you draw is like it's not as good. So yeah. Then you play 3 Twister.
And they all have graveyard effects, so they get his plus off of it.
Yeah, so they take advantage of it the same way Burning Abyss does. Then you play for singletons Foolish. You play Rhoda, because they're all like all the Phantom Knights are warriors. So then you play for board wipes in case you go second Dark Hole and Regeki, because the Billy Break deck really like makes like these big.
A lot of decks do right now too.
Yeah, well, that one most specifically, and that's the one that's technically most susceptible to like these board wipes, because Cosmo can like play around them with their ships, and your deck, in case a mirror match ever comes up now, that could be another deck that makes like a big board if they open Terratop. But other than those 2 decks, it's mainly just the Perform Pal deck that can make like these huge boards, and like it's hard enough playing through the trap cards, so you really need a card that's just like out their board. So then for traps, you actually have to play 3 of each trap, because this is what makes your deck so good, because these traps are like your combo pieces too. So this is like the first deck to ever really employ that, where these trap cards, you can like use them to disrupt your opponent and to like protect your board, and then at the same time you can use them to bring and recur monsters back and make your plays more powerful.
Will you go into small detail over them, just since it is in your deck?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sword is by far the weakest one, which is interesting because it gives the monster the most attack. It targets a face-up monster and gives it 800 attack, and if that target would be destroyed by battle or card effect, then this can die instead. So This card's a good damage modifier that like can protect your monster. Unfortunately, it's not like chainable, it's an equip. This one, however, is the same thing, except it only gives 500, but it's a chainable card. So you could just chain it, and the boost is permanent. Not a lot of people know the boost is permanent. So the first time it would be destroyed that turn, it wouldn't be. So that's what Wings does. And then the last one, which is by far the best one, is Phantom Knight's Fog Blade, which is basically Fiendish Chain. You target an effect monster and it gets the effects, and it can attack, but it also cannot be attacked. So you can use on your own monster if you like draw bad, especially against like Cosmo. If they've already like tagged in for a ship, you can Fog Blade one of your own monsters and they can't attack. So you're alive for another turn.
Interesting.
And it leaves a level 3 up, so you can continue comboing next turn. Then for the rest of the traps, because you are playing a trap deck, you play the 3 strike in the warning, and then you play emptiness, because I'll explain in the extract, but you can make Key Beetle, so you can just walk.
Yeah, Key Beetle on Tunas.
Yeah, so that's.
Alright, so on to the extra.
Yeah, so token. Shout out to Ham Jam. So then for the rank 3s, you play like a lot of them, obviously. So you play the 3 break sword. This comes up almost every game because a lot of the time you'll have to have it pop itself, and you make multiple per turn. When it's basically a scrap dragon, but then if the XYZ summon card is destroyed, you can you could target 2 Phantom Knight monsters in your graveyard and summon them both back. But they gain a level, so your guys would become level 4. And you can only summon dark monsters for the rest of the turn. So they work with 3 of the rank 4s in the deck. You only play 3 rank 4s for that kind of interaction. But you can also just like pop your continuous traps and pop their cards, and then use the traps to summon guys back. So this is definitely just the linchpin of the deck. You play 2 Dante, because this is generally the first XYZ you make in case unless you have Terror Top. Well, even if you have Terror Top, this is still the first XYZ you make.
Yeah,
but
for the setup here.
Right. So you have to set up like the traps and the monsters and stuff. Then this is the card you abuse in the deck, Leviair, because these guys banish to get their effects. So you could just like keep bringing them back, and like it's just like more resources. So then for the other 2 rank 3s, like the situational ones, you just try and like push a bunch of damage through, and sometimes it's not game. So in the situations that it's not game and they start reestablishing, you can just put them in Nightmare Shark range and kill them. Yeah. Triage Levy is actually a giant hand, so it's really good. But on top of that, it kills any card. When it kills a card, it banishes it. So this is really good against specifically Cosmo Slip Rider, where you can like attack it and then make it -800 during the damage step, and then it just gets banished, so it's just gone. But other than that, yeah, it's just giant hand, so that comes up sometimes, because with Terror Tops and stuff, you flood the board with 3s. And then for the 3s, or for the rank 4s, you play only 3, and that's, well, I guess you play downward 2, I guess that counts. So downward goes over Dante when you're done with it. You can also make it, it's one of the few XYZs you can make under the break sword condition. Then these are the ones you can make under the break sword condition specifically. So Nightmare is really good against the Pendulum deck. If you're able to like clear their board and you don't kill them somehow, you can just end off with this. Unless you have Emptiness, in which Key Beetle is just better. Also post game 1 against Monarch, you can board and restrict, and then just Key Beetle restrict them. And then Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragons, more specifically good against Cosmo, where you just they like pay a lot of life, then you could do like a little damage here and there, and then because Ragged Gloves gives it +1000, you can just like kill them through like attacking like a monster. Like, most specifically Wicked Witch. And then you play Utopic Creature because you play a lot of rank 3s, and you make like double Leviair a lot, so it's good against Cosmo obviously. And then you play Trishula because you play 2 tuners, and you know, Trishula is Trishula, and then on top of that, games 2 and 3, sometimes they send Flying Sea, you can just synchro the Flying Sea for Trish.
Yeah, it handles that.
Yeah, so it deals with that.
Alright, and on to the side deck.
Yeah, so the cool thing about this deck, speaking of the side deck, is that it's just kind of hard to side against. Like, you could side Iron Wall, but you could just break sort of the Iron Wall. You could side Flying Sea, but you make Trishula with Flying Sea. So, and you can also just Fog Blade the Flying Sea. So I'm not really sure, like, the one appeal of the deck, like, was just that it just plays around like almost like any. I mean, it just plays around so many side deck cards, especially like the most popularized ones. So it was very hard to side against it, and therefore games 2 and 3 were a lot easier. So for the side, it was 3 max. This was for Cosmo going 1st or 2nd, the Pendulum deck going 2nd, and I think that's and then like water and things like that. Didn't come in against Monarch obviously or anything like that. 3 system down specifically.
So tell us how this card played out. It's been seeing some hype recently.
Oh yeah, so you basically just they end off generally with Tin Can, or if they end phase teleport Tin Can, then you can just they have to break for a ship, and if it's not Dark Destroyer and they're they're a good player, it can't be Dark Destroyer because they can just break the Dark Destroyer and get like another Tin Can and search again, so that they don't have to end off with a ship post game 1. So you can like cash them with this, or you bait out the Tin Can by going like summon a guy attack, and then they obviously blink out for a ship, so then you system down and continue with their combo. Okay. Played it on Cosmojo too, which is like the whole like reason, because that matchup's only like relatively difficult if they draw Mojo. Then you play another Dark Hole. This just comes in against the Pendulum deck. It also comes in against the Domain Monarch deck, because you can't have like if they have a Tribute Summon monster, you're having a hard time. So with Domain up, so you just need to clear it. And then this was a cool card, 2 Magic Deflectors.
Did you get to play this much at all?
Yeah.
How'd that play out?
So good against Monarch. So basically it negates any, for the rest of the turn, any spell card that isn't a normal spell. So that means like Quick Play, Continuous, Field, and Equip, Field, Continuous, and Quick Play. So relevant cards that this hits are Emergency Teleport, Twin Twister, Monarch Storm Forth, Draco Face Off, and Wavering Eyes. But the only 2 cards you really board this in against is Monarch Storm Forth and Domain, which is why it only comes in for Monarch. It's not good enough.
So you decided it against the mirror at all then?
No.
I guess against
Monarch?
Draco Slayer.
No, it only hits like 1 or 2 cards, and I don't know if they keep. Maybe I guess it might be better if they do keep Wavering Eyes in, but I didn't think they would because I'm not playing a Pendulum deck. So it only came in against Monarch, and it's very, very good because when they're like trying to play back with you, they are constantly trying to just like storm forth to clear your board, and then even on your turn you can play it kind of proactively because you can negate their Domain, and sometimes it just bricks them, like they go Domain, try and reduce level, and you Chain Deflector. So then obviously you play the Restricts, and then because you play Key Beetle, you can actually get away with playing Anti-Spell Fragrance as a floodgate against the Pendulum deck, and even against the Monarch deck if you go first, because they play such a high volume of spells. So you can literally protect this and win. Also, if they don't have Twin Twister and you can't kill them immediately, like you drew slow and you have this, if they draw Twin Twister at any point, they're just late. So it gives you another turn to like pop off while they can't play. So that's pretty much the deck.
Oh yeah, any notable rounds?
I lost to Denny in top 8 because I just drew really, really bad. He also played really well, but I drew terribly. Let's see, any notable rounds? No, not specifically. They all went pretty standard. This deck is like really, really good. Did you make any changes to the deck? Yeah, I changed my sleeves. These sleeves are ridiculous. Like they are.
So no changes to the deck itself then.
Yeah, it's 41 cards. I was thinking maybe like you could, if you wanted to like make a change somewhere, you could try and fit like Curry Bandit in, so you can play Tour Guide, Edge Imp Sabers too, just so you can play Tour Guide. And Curry Bandit's also good, but with Curry Bandit,
try to set up the graveyard faster.
Yeah, you could set up the graveyard, but since you have to end your turn, I was thinking about playing Mass Change the second, so that I fill my graveyard, I banish for trap for a guy, and then still in the end phase I play a Mass Change, so I end with a Dark Law and potentially traps. So
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, but I just couldn't figure it out quick enough. I didn't have enough time. So
yeah. Alrighty, any shout outs then?
Shouts to Jackie. Shout outs to everyone in California, I guess. Shouts to Jeff, obviously, in Voltage Games. This is predominantly his deck, so without Jeff, I probably wouldn't have played this deck at all. Or I would have played the Phantom Knight deck, just not like this, for sure. It would definitely have been like an inferior deck. I wasn't playing any of the 4s. I wasn't playing, like, there was just so much stuff I wasn't playing. So shout out to Jeff, and I think that's it. Oh, Brady Bunch. Brady Bunch, that's it.
Alrighty, guys, check out House of Champions on YouTube. We'll see y'all soon. Thank you.